While this movie might have had good intentions, it felt like the sleaziest wannabe Wolf of Wall Street. Chase Lehocky here with Blue Futon. That was a weird voice. Watching Pain Hustlers. What's about pretty simple premise? You have Chris Evans and Emily Blunt selling drugs, quote unquote, illegally by paying doctors, doing these weird side hustles with them to try to get this one drug, which is basically a spray on fentanyl to cancer patients. But now greed gets in the way, and who's dying? Who's giving up? Who's taking the cuffs of the feds? So, do you like this film? This had good intentions, but executionally, it didn't work, in my opinion. Yes, I could say Chris Evans, probably one of his better roles, honestly, because to me, Chris Evans is an okay actor, but he did a good job here. Emily Blunt, of course, seems like she can never do wrong, so good job, Emily Blunt. To me, like I said also in the beginning, the message was there, how opioid crisis, fentanyl, kills, it's addictive, you shouldn't have it unless a doctor prescribes it for the real reason, and you get, it's only a 1, 2 time 3. It's not something that's freaking continuous. But man, the filmmaking, the editing, the slow motion just didn't work for me. So like I said, the positives, like I said, nothing wrong with the acting in this movie. Even though Andy Garcia felt like he was underutilized and his character was just kind of really odd about this one part where he turns psycho, if you want to put it that way. You're like, that's kind of a weird left field thing we're trying to do here, but sure, why not? I liked, like I said, the acting. I liked how some of the story was told. This was in a quasi true event story as well as interviewing people. And I enjoyed this one guy that said he was a soldier and coming back from Iraq and he was chewing this lollipop and he goes to the fentanyl. Like his story, I was intrigued at. How they showed his story was intrigued. Like him talking to a camera saying, man, I was feeling like fucked up shit. But when I got this, I was feeling good for a moment until my teeth were rotted out. So that style of filmmaking was good. Then you're interviewing Chris Evans' character, you're interviewing Emily Blunt's character. I enjoyed that. And then, that was interesting. And like I said, there was some good messaging with them trying to talk about the opioid crisis, how it fucks people up, how people are getting greedy off this. And I love how people say it's a capitalistic story. This is not a capitalistic story. This is just fucked up people taking advantage of people. People go, oh, that's capitalism. No, it's not capitalism. You can say that's the same thing that's happening in North Korea. The rich people and all the poor people now, Kim Jong-un is crying that people want to have more kids because, the country's running to the ground. China, why do people want to migrate out of China? Why are people migrating out of North Korea? So people say, oh, it's an anti-capitalistic story. No, it's an anti-greed story. So you're telling me there's no greedy people in China, no greedy people in socialist countries either. So I really hate that as well as just putting it that way. It's just greedy people in general. All right. I think the runtime's fine, but what I really have issue with this movie is the filmmaking, the rushing of the third act, and then trying to have these weird side hustle characters that just don't work. Like they really wanted to do this story about a single mother and a kid with seizures. It could have gone somewhere, but the seizure story was very minimalistic. Then you have her and the mom. The mom story could have gone somewhere, but the mom story was really just in there to save the day at the end. So I was like, oh, give me something more grasp at. Give me more straws. But there's no straws I'm grabbing. I'm grabbing nothing. And that's what it felt like this movie was doing. In the slow motion shots, like them going like, yeah, we're getting rich. We're getting rich. We're getting rich. And they do the slow motion way too much in this story. Like, I understand you're trying to go for that style, but the substance wasn't there. And like I said, they really try to do a Wolf on Wall Street with the characters and try to do it in Emily Blunt, Chris Evans trying to do both sides. But it just doesn't work. You don't have the Martin Scorsese's touch. You don't have the Leonardo DiCaprio quasi to it. And that is the movie he should have won the Oscar for instead of the Relevant Resident, whatever it's called. Anyway, on speaking out of terms. Pain Hustlers, though, like I said, intentions, 100% there. I understand what you're going for, but the movie rushes in some scenes. It just feels wants to be something that it's not. It's a hollow shell of what it's trying to do. And that's unfortunate because there is such a good story in here somewhere, but it's rushed at the very end. it the middle of the movie, it feels like there's too much in it. It's bloated, and they should have focused on the first half or third half, or the side characters, especially the people that are trying to hire, have more of them, more of the daughter, because then all of a sudden it goes to them smelling health products at the end. And you're just like, what are we trying to do? It feels like, I don't know. They try to make it's true events, but there's so much misguidedness through all these other characters that you're just like, I see what you're trying to do, but it didn't work overall. So Pain Hustlers will receive a 2 out of 5 with futons, which equals at 40%. Let's see the critics' news scores gave this one. So you have critics a 23%, damn. Audience score a 67% with over 250 of them and 109 critics. Critic consensus. Pain Hustlers has some great actors and a worthwhile premise, but lackluster execution dooms this dramatic look at the opioid epidemic. 100% agree. So we got the 23, the 40, and the 67. Chase Hockey here with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't think it's Futontopia. You both want to have a great day. And I'll watch this tape tomorrow, a week from now, a month, for a year from now. Obviously, a freaking one of you. And yes, I'm one of those people that drugs, I have no interest. Like zero interest. I barely even drink alcohol. My drug, though, is probably caffeine. But I drink that once every 4th day. So it's not like I'm like, Red Bull it up every day. But I do love me some sugar.